Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Gab with Gail. I have a super special guest. I don't even know him that well, but I already love him. He's hilarious. We just talked for 40 minutes before this call. I wish you guys could have heard some of those conversations, but here we are with Jerry Weintraub. Did I say that right?
Unbelievable. I'm overwhelmed. As a matter of fact, that's it. The interview's over. I mean, God, you did it so well. No one ever pronounces my name properly.
I practiced all night long. I didn't sleep at all last night.
I have too. I've been actually talking to myself in front of a mirror just as so I'd be sure to, do this semi-properly.
I love it. Well, we met through this crazy dialogue with the International Light Association. I get this call from a girl named Vanessa. She says, Jerry might want to interview me. I'm like, who is this Jerry guy? I doctor 30 years. Of course, then I get intimidated because, oh my gosh, he's a doctor. And I'm like, oh my God. And we just hit it off. He does improv. He's so diverse. He's brilliant. I absolutely adore him. And I'm so excited to let you guys get to know him. You have to know him. There's so much information on his website. So we're not going to get into that stuff because that's boring. We're going to get into more fun stuff. But there's a Zoom webinar on his website you guys will love if you want to know more information. But Jerry, welcome.
Wow. I don't know what to say after that. I mean, God, if half of what you said was true, I mean, we're going to be rolling. I mean, God.
Well, let me ask you this. So the Eye of Horus is on your website for kind of part of your logo. I want to know what attracted you to that.
That's a good question. So I'm in New York City for, my practice is in New York City for like 100 years. And I kind of play it a little behind the scenes if I could actually do that, but somewhat. Oh yeah, I want to be professional. Maybe I'll wear a tie. So that tie, I gave up the tie. Then I was wearing t-shirts like that. Okay. And anyway, so I said, so now I'm making a new card. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put the Eye of Horus. So the Eye of Horus is the all-seeing eye. It's like what better thing to be on my card than that, but then of course, as I'm going to do it, I'm freaking out because, I'm from New York. Okay. I don't know where you guys are from, but I'm from New York. All right. So, and we, freak out. It's like it rolls in our bloodstream, you basically, you do stuff, freak out, freak out. Anyway, so I do it. So I put the Eye of Horus on my card. And everybody freaks out. Go, oh my God, this is so great. I can't believe you put the Eye of Horus on your card. So anyway, it was just, it's the all-seeing eye. And if I know anything, which is very little, vision is, in my way of seeing or thinking, is not really the way it works. Like the eye is a channel between the divine and your soul. And my job as an eye doctor is to clear it out. I'm here to clear out the whatever is holding you back from who you are.
Yeah.
So the Eye of Horus is this being, or whatever it is. It's this thing that says that we are that all-seeing eye. We all have that ability if we just open them. The best way to say it.
I love it.
Thanks for asking me that.
No, I absolutely love it. This, to me, showed your expansiveness as a soul. It showed how you're not locked into, the doctor kind of closed-minded thinking. It showed me a lot about who you were. And we were just talking before this recording about your studying astrology, and we won't get into it too much, but just to say that the astrology chart is possibly your directions or your map of navigation when you get here. So can you find an eye issue that somebody has from their chart? So I think you're brilliant. I'm so happy to know you.
Oh,
and all the different things that you are doing. to help people find their best self, to help people to be a better them. And so you do so many things. And, you know, I want to talk a little bit about the tuning forks, because you kind of created what I understand are tuning forks that are the sound of color. And maybe you can expand that, you know, with the C and the G and balancing the autonomic nervous system and creating flow. So love for you to share a little bit of that, since, you know, I love sound and light.
I do know that. So here's what I wanted to, I want to do a back story for 1 second on what you just said. So here's the Weintraub rules. Maybe these should be your rules, okay? But they're my rules, and they are: everything's on the table. Everything's a possibility. I mean, do you think I know if astrology is relevant to vision? I don't know. I have no idea. But what if it is? So, and astrology is so interesting. So why don't I study it? You know, everything's on the table. I'm a perpetual student. You know, just stay open to that. And so, so I've worked with color for like 35 years or so, which is how long I've been in practice. And it's this quote unquote science called syntonics, and relates to the autonomic nervous system, and it balances that. And, you know, that's the sympathetic parasympathetic, for those of you who don't know what that is. And I think that that's true. I think that that's true. I think that is what it does. But that can't be all it does. You know, it's not, it can't be. It's too, everything's too limiting. You know, it just can't be. And so, but I've used it a lot, and I've gotten, you know, really great results. The main thing I do is I do exercises with people with different kinds of eye problems and other sorts of things like that. Okay. And I don't want to go too much into it, because it's really, I don't know that it's so relevant. But anyway, so I use this colored light, and you know, and so here it is. So it's the beginning of my practice, right? And I'm using this colored light. I have no idea what it is. You know, I mean, I just kind of went to a conference. Oh, this is really interesting. And this woman walks into my office, right? And she's this Orthodox Jewish woman, and it's relevant to the story. And I'm like, you know, and she comes in, she brings her kid, and, you know, and I examine the kid, and you know, we're gonna do some work together. And I said, you know, why don't we, I'm gonna treat him with this color that's gonna put the autonomic nervous system into balance, right? And so I say this to her, and I say, you know, and it's, I forgot, what was the color? I think it was like green orange. It was like this green orange color. And she says to me, and she says, well, how about we take this color and I paint his room this color? And I go like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I said, like, you're gonna do that? You're gonna paint his room? Then she says to me, how about I feed him food that's the color that you're treating him with? And I go like, what? Like, what are you talking? I mean, I was like, holy cow, what on earth is this woman talking about? And so the Orthodox Jewish piece, she says, oh, well, you know, it's all in the Kabbalah. And she starts talking about the Kabbalah, and, you know, which is the mystical aspect of Judaism. And I'm like sitting there, and, you know, I just opened my office. I'm like, who is this person? And in reality is that if you stay open to the concept that everybody's your teacher, that woman was one of my greatest teachers. And she gave me this opportunity to expand the way I used color, you know, in all these ways. You're right. We painted the kid's room. She fed him food. We treated him with color. I mean, now, in those days, we had no way to do it at home. Now we have these glasses in all different, you know, like zillions of these, in all these different combinations. And, you know, I'd go on a morning walk every morning I walk down my road wearing one of these, you know, everybody's like, oh, there's Jerry, oh my God, there's that guy,
He's the one that rides the short bus, right?
the very short bus. And by the way, just in case those of you in Gab with Gail want to know, not only am I walking, just to show you who I really am, not only am I walking down the road wearing these glasses, but I'm holding my mala beads and I'm chanting to Ganesh. All right, there it is. I put it out in La La Land. Now you all know who I am. All right. In any event, so back to this, is that a couple of years ago, I decided, hey, why don't they're giving this year-long course at the New York Open Center in sound. The New York Open Center is this like holistic center in Manhattan. I go, oh, sound, that's interesting. Oh, I don't know all that much about it other than music. I say, why don't I take it? So it's this year-long study. I have no idea why I'm studying it, other than I thought it might be interesting. I figure the eyes here, the ears here, it's nearby. I figure what the hell. So I take it, and what happens is that I meet this guy who's a teacher in the thing and in the program. And the thing about it is, for me, is that most everybody's like in their 20s and 30s, and I don't know if you realize I'm actually not in my 20s or 30s. Well, I'm close. I'm really close. I dye my hair actually I dye it gray. Actually, it creates a kind of a regal aspect to me, But anyway, so so as a result, the teachers are my peers because we're all the same age. Anyway, I become friends with this guy, and he is one of the creators of using tuning forks medicinally. And he says to me that if you take C and G,
can we shout out to him, Jonathan?
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Oh, big shout out.
Yeah,
oh my God, John Bellew.
I love him.
Talk about God realized. God realized is John Bellew. Like John Bellew is like, he's like one of these guys. Like you have a conversation, and if you understand a third of it, you did well. Yeah. You like go, what? Like what? What do you say? What? He's like super down to earth. You look him up. His website is called biosonics.com. It's just, he's out there and in there at the same time. And anyway, he tells me about these two tuning forks, and what they are is they are the notes C and G. And C and G is called the divine interval. Look it up. And C, D, E, F, G. It's their perfect fifth, it's called. And he says that if you tone this and listen to it, what you can do is that it can create this resonance in your brain and create this balance in you. So I say, wow, that's interesting, John. All right, why don't I try it on all my patients? Like what the hell? And what's great about my office these days is that everyone, this is my explanation to patients, by the way. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I've got these tuning forks. I want you to use this every morning and every night. But you know what? It's okay if you don't understand why it works. Just do it. That's it. I barely understand why it works. And you know what? I don't really care why it works. That's the other piece, by the way. Those of you in Gab with, what's your name? Gail, right? Gab with Gail. But right, the key is that make sure that you don't get caught up in the why. Oh God, what's one of the problems of an interview like this is like you can't curse, but really, it's bullshit, guys. I mean, proof. Oh, it's not in the studies. It's not in the studies. Forget the studies. I'm not saying that they don't have some validity. This much validity, maybe even this much, maybe even zero. I mean, the thing is that if it works, it's good. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, it might also be good. But
that's the magic egg, the harmonic egg. And that's why I tell people, I'm not sure exactly how it works. Don't get caught up in the how it works. People say, is there any science behind it? Look at the testimonials, look at how you feel, look at what the results are. There's my science.
The answer is that, in the beginning of my practice, people would say, well, and they even say it now, oh, acupuncture, where are the studies to the acupuncture? No. How about 5,000 years of using it? Oh, maybe that has some slight validity. How about a country of 1 billion people using it as their, not as all, I mean, it's like Western medicine is so archaic. It's so backwards. It's like, and the idea that if you can't prove it with the studies, oh, then it can't be true. Well, I mean, and I don't want to go way off on studies, but, I could go way off on 1,000 things, but I'll just say, what is a placebo? There is no placebo. How could there possibly be placebo? I'm going to give you this sugar pill. It's going to work. But it's just a sugar pill. It's not the real drug. It's just a sugar pill. Once I say it's going to work, there's no placebo. It's over. Once I give you the intention, you're going to create whatever you're going to create. But that's a topic for another time. Anyway, so I do start doing these with patients, and patients are getting better. And they're getting better at a faster rate. Remember, I've done this for 30 years, and now I'm treating them, and the only difference is I'm using these tuning forks. You do it morning and night. And then one day, I say to John, because in case you haven't figured me out by now, I basically say anything that comes into my mind, and I act on most of it. Okay, so I say, hey, John, wouldn't it be cool if we took these colored lights, these colored filters, and we converted it to sound? Now, where did I come up with that? I don't know. It just like popped into my head. And of course, the cool thing about when you say stuff like that to John is John goes, I think we could do that. I go, like, what? We could do it? And anyway, so then we start on this kind of journey to, on this journey where John does like all these mathematical calculations, and then he meets with physicists, and then he's explaining to me what's going on, and I don't really understand it, but I don't really care. And we kind of go along, and we try to figure out, by the way, the original nanometer, the wavelengths of these filters, which actually turns out wasn't so easy to find. And we do all that, and we go and we create this. And what's this? These are tuning forks that correlate to the colors that we're using.
So brilliant. So brilliant. And that's the thing. This is what we need. We need these non-invasive modalities that we don't need the big pharma drugs. We need this because we're sound and light beings from source, from creator.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're beings of sound and light. Why not heal with sound and light? That's where I came up with the egg concept.
Right. Why not?
Egg, where life begins. Okay, let's just go with that. And, call me crazy, but I am. And look what's happening. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, it makes so much sense. I mean, if you think about it, so why can you connect light to sound? Because it's the same thing. Because light is fast vibration and sound is slow vibration. It's the same thing. It's just a continuum. And by the way, when you slow down sound, you want to know what you get? Us.
Yeah.
Ask Albert Einstein. Yeah. He said that matter is just slowed vibration to become human form. That's all we are. So we're all vibration, and we are that color, and we are that sound. And I don't know a heck of a lot about the harmonic egg, but if you just think about it, is that sound and color are the same thing, and we are that. So if you immerse yourself in a vibration of color, And if you listen to that same sound, what does it do? Here's my analysis of your harmonic egg. Okay, what does it do? It taps into a place that is an ancient wisdom that is within us. And it taps into that place. And then it creates the vibration that we are all longing for. And there's no doubt in my mind that that's what it does. And how does it use? This is a sacred geometry water bottle, if you're just curious. And what's sacred geometry? It's the same thing. Why is it that all churches are made in sacred geometry? Duh. Okay, because it's all doing the thing that I said in the beginning, by the way, which is what the eye does. It's all the same thing. It connects the source or the divine to you.
Yeah.
And that's what your harmonic egg does.
Well, and I think, yeah, with this kind of modality, I mean, Einstein, I think, said it, Tesla, Edgar Cayce, Royal Rife, the future of medicine is frequencies, sound
Right.
and light, bringing together spiritual forces of sound, bringing together spiritual forces of light. I think all those consciousnesses came through when I did the egg. And I think, with your tuning forks and the C and G and the perfect fifth and bringing the autonomic nervous system into balance, I think it gets us out of fear and puts us into a space of love and a higher vibration and a higher heart energy for us to live our best life.
Right. Absolutely. Well, what is that heart energy? The heart energy is green light. That's what it is. If you look at if you go back and look at the chakras, the heart chakra is green.
And why you think that our creator put everything in nature green?
That's correct. That is absolutely correct. Because and the heart is if you just the heart is love, and we can talk about that, but the heart is also who you are. The heart is that central part of you. And that's why the earth is green. And that's why everything is green. It's that central place, that central focus.
A neutral color. Yep. Neutral color. It's brilliant. And, when I create music for the harmonic egg, I tell people you can't change the music. You can't just pump in, Iron Maiden or something like that. I mean, even Ethok Perlman, there's an ego involved, and I look for musicians that have a high heart center and a high vibration because it has to match the resonance of the egg.
By the way, I had a patient once who came in. So he was also an Orthodox. He was actually a cantor. And it was interesting, like over the years, about probably, I don't know, about maybe 30% of my practice are deeply religious Jews, Orthodox and Hasidic Jews. I've learned so much from them. And anyway, this guy was a cantor. And so a cantor is the person in a Jewish ceremony who sings. And the guy had like this big angelic voice, and he's like really, really humble guy. And he says to me, "Oh, I made a CD." I said, "Oh, really? You made a CD? That's nice." I mean, and he hands me the CD, and there on the cover of the CD is Yitzhak Perlman. That's why I thought of it. I was like, "What? Yitzhak Perlman? You work with him?" He says, "Oh yeah, we perform. It's like really, you perform with Yitzhak Perlman?" It's like really funny. But you listen to that thing. It's like you listen to God. And I mean, what you're saying though is that how is it? It's so logical, all this stuff. It makes so much sense. And maybe when it just makes sense, that's really all you need. All you really need is that. And we get, I want to say at the beginning of my practice, so I'm an optometrist, and ophthalmologists are medical doctors, and I'm a medical doctor, but I'm a doctor of optometry and blah, 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 whatever the hell that means. Okay. And so anyway, ophthalmology and much of optometry said, oh, well, this stuff that you do, Jerry, that doesn't work. You need to do a study. No, they didn't actually say it to me because they knew anybody say it to me, I was never doing a study. But they said it to the people who do the kind of work that I do. And what they said is, oh, okay, let's do a study. So they went and they did 1 million studies. And here I am 35 years later, right? And they did all the studies. And they said, oh, that's good study, but you know what? That doesn't prove anything. And so all these years later, I swear to you, people know less. People believe less now than they did 35 years ago. You know, and I am so against spending our energy proving what we do to them. Who put them in charge? Who put them in charge of me, of my body? Forget it. Why do I have to prove myself to them? And I'm sure, Gail, what I am saying is not, I can't imagine the journey of this harmonic egg. You know, I don't know it so well. It makes perfect sense. And that's why I'm sitting here. It makes perfect sense. And by the way, I interviewed Gail and I didn't really know who she was. And I did that interview. I was like, wow, man, this is great. I mean, when we were done with that interview, I was like, wow, that was so much fun. Because you're so down to earth and you're so real and you're not, I mean, you're a scientist and not a scientist, right? You're using science, but you don't come from this huge science background. You kind of come and you say, you know, I've found this thing. By the way, if I say anything wrong, please correct me. But really, I found this thing and it really works. And I really like you to use it. That to me is the premise of how you work. I found this thing. And that, by the way, is the premise of how I work. Okay. Wow, I found this thing. It seems to work. Why don't you use it? You know, you don't want to use it. Who cares? Okay. I don't care. It's not my life. It's your life. You know, I say to these kids who come in to see me, I say, you know, you really need to wear these glasses. Kid says to me, well, I don't want to wear them. So I say to them, well, here's the deal. I think you need to. And it's not that I promote glasses, but it's therapeutic. And so I say, if you don't do exactly what I say, my life will be exactly the same. Yours may not, but mine won't. So if I suggest the harmonic egg to you and you don't want to use it, so what? You know, I mean, I'm sorry. It would be really good if you did, but you know, if you don't, who cares? My life will be the same. So I'm not going to spend my time going out of my way to explain this thing to you because I've spent so much of my life and career trying to explain stuff like this to you. And if you don't want to understand it, who cares?